How's it going, folks? Carlos R. Benitez back here again, episode 11 of My Dog's Place. And today I wanted to talk about the three biggest challenges that I see new dog owners run into. Before we get started, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel and follow on all other platforms at My Dog Carl. Getting started, guys, the first thing and probably the most prominent challenge that I see is going to be the leash pulling. That's always like the number one thing that I hear when clients call me. And this is a result of frustration being built. When we set the expectation that, or when we set the habit that they can pull us to get what they want, they're just going to pull even harder. And it makes it a lot worse. And we spoke about this in one of the previous episodes. If we give them a harness that gives them more leverage and they're able to pull more efficiently. So we actually don't want that. We want, if it's something that we have an issue with and we want to discourage the pulling, we want to make it uncomfortable if they pull or they get to the end of the leash, right? So this is why we use collars. This is why prong collars come into play when, it becomes more of a challenge if you have a less sensitive dog. I have a very strict rule when I'm taking my dogs out on a walk. There's no greeting by other people. They can't greet other dogs. There's no playing. I want to manage that mental level, that mindset. I want to capture it and make sure it's a very neutral state of mind. This is not to say that I want the walks to be boring. The walks are for the enjoyment of the dog, but I also need it to be enjoyable for myself. To do that, I need to manage the dog very well and set very clear rules. So when they see another dog, I want them to not pull me towards them. I want them to just kind of ignore them. And to do that, we need to set up this expectation over time. So we want to teach them a loose leash walk. We want to teach them a structured walk over time. But to do this, first we need to teach them leash pressure. So I have some videos on that. You guys could definitely check that out. That's a conversation for another time. But if you guys want, you can go and check that out, or let me know if you want me to make a more extensive video on leash pressure. Now, another thing to keep in mind there is think of it more like we don't want the dog to be walking us. We're walking the dog, so we want to be in charge. We want them to follow us. A lot of the times, dogs are ahead of their owner when they should be more closer to your side, if not behind you. The next one, guys, is the jumping, right? And this is typically when they're greeting somebody. This is really a big thing because a lot of the times when puppies are young, they're so adorable and they jump up on us and we give them a bunch of affection. And it doesn't seem like a problem in the moment, but too much reinforcement of this will make it even more inconvenient, or it becomes super inconvenient, I should say, when they get older. You have a baby Rottweiler, okay, yeah, they're super adorable at 10, 15 pounds, right? But then they get 60, 70, 80 pounds and they're still a puppy, but they still have those tendencies that you reinforced when they were a puppy, or when they were smaller, I should say. So it starts as an innocent way, as I said, but we want to make sure that we're not so much reinforcing this, and we kind of get them to a point where they're only getting affection if all four paws are on the ground. Now, leash pressure also helps with fixing this. Once you want to fix it, a way to work on this is stepping on the leash and not letting them get up, and essentially making it very uncomfortable when they go up off of their four paws. Obviously, a longer conversation. If you guys want me to talk about leash pressure, we could definitely do that. But you want to build value to fix this, I should say. You want to build value around them being on the ground and not on their hind legs. To do this, you want to cut out all affection once they come up off the ground, and you want to only give them affection, belly rubs, whatever, when they're on the ground, right? When they're on all fours or when they lay on their back, etc., when they're in the down, when they're in the sit. These are all acceptable means of getting my affection. If they are up on top of me, it's already too late. The best thing you can do there is stop giving them affection. A lot of the times people will let the dog jump on them and be like, oh no, stop, okay, hey, no, stop, no, no, hey, stop it. And now they start kind of playing this patty cake game with their dog, and they don't realize that the dog is not hearing your no and cut it out. They think, oh, mom and dad are playing with me now. So this is what further reinforces them jumping up. Now, the third one is potty training. And this is also a very common misconception that dogs are kind of born knowing how to pee outside. They're not. And actually, some dogs are or have to be sort of ushered in and kind of, desensitized to doing their business on grass. As I've mentioned before, getting a piece of turf and putting it in like a box in your house and letting the dog pee in there, that's a better way to start desensitizing them to doing their business in the grass. Another thing that you can do is literally get a piece of real grass. Maybe get a dog to pee on it once or twice, and then now that sense is already there. If you can get them to pee on it once or twice, that's going to be even better. They are going to pick up on that scent. The challenge is if you use pee pads, they're going to leave their scent in different places around the house and still not get used to peeing on the grass. Another way to also work on this, assuming you have an older dog that can go outside and is already vaccinated, you want to start managing their intake of food as well as water. If you start coming up with a very set schedule for this, and let's say I feed them at XYZ time, I wait an hour, and then I take them right out. When you take them out, make sure that you're not leaving or you're not going back inside, I should say, until they pee and poop. You already know they ate, you already know they peed, you have to wait until they pee and poop. And sometimes it's more of a patient, you have to be a little bit more patient than other dogs. Some dogs, they kind of just go outside and they relieve themselves right away. Other dogs take a bit longer, they want to sniff around. At first, you really don't, when you're teaching this, you don't want to make a big deal out of it, you just have to wait. When they do their business, when they do pee, when they do poop, you want to make a huge deal about it. You want to make a big deal out of it. You want to give them, I remember one trainer referred to it as a potty party. You want to make a big deal. Pick them up, give them a bunch of affection, give them some treats, give them, a bunch of pats on the head, a bunch of good boys, a bunch of good girls, and really make it super valuable to pee outside. On the flip side, do not get mad at your dog for peeing inside. It's not their fault. It's your fault for being not being quick enough or to take them outside, right? A lot of the times I've seen that this not being potty trained is a result of the owner being too lazy or a bit of misinformation of how to transition them from peeing on pee pads or from, they just got vaccinated and getting them to pee outside. But that's the top 3 ones, guys. Now, I do want to add a disclaimer here. For nervous dogs, or when you have a new dog, a young dog coming in, you want to be a little light on these things. So at some point, you will have to hold your dog accountable for all 3 of these things if they do it. However, if you have a nervous dog, an older dog, a rescue dog, whatever, you don't want to do anything that's going to potentially harm you, the bond that you're trying to build with your dog. So you need to be a little bit more lenient than you would be with a more confident, a bit younger dog, right? Now, the first couple of days that you have your puppy, on the other hand, you might not want to be super strict on these things, but at some point you do want to start getting into the habit of, okay, no more affection when they're up on their, on their hind legs. You want to make sure that they're peeing in in this little grass or turf patch that you set for them inside the house. And you want to make sure that they're not really pulling you outside the leash. The reason why I mention this is because those first couple of days that you have the dog are very key. And you want to set this bond with the dog as quickly as possible and let them know, hey, this new owner of mine is pretty all right. And to do that, you attract more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. So keep that in mind, guys. I hope that was helpful. And make sure to let me know down below any comments, questions, or observations, and anything you want to know moving forward. That being said, guys, I'll catch you guys on the next one, and thanks for watching.